You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, the Knicks finally returned home after a lengthy road trip, and they did so in style tonight, pulling away from the Miami Heat at the Garden. 116-95, the final score as the Knicks win. They get another triple-double from Josh Hart. We'll dissect. Amazing individual runs tonight by both Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. And the Knicks win a game. They trail by 13 at one point in the second quarter. A superb third quarter as a team from New York. They outscored the Heat and stands at number 3, 41-15. Knicks now a perfect 3-0 against the Heat this season. That's the only times they'll play them. Again, 3 games against Miami this season, and the Knicks have won them all. They sweep the season series from Miami for the first time in 30 years, 3 decades. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Glad to have you aboard. If you would please follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast, which is this, gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. As we said, yet another triple-double for Josh Hart, his 8th of the season. As we said, that ties Clyde Frazier's franchise record for most triple-doubles in a single season, again with 8. Clyde did this 56 years ago, nearly 6 decades. We'll break it all down starting right now. All that coming up on the postcast. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And one more note before we get going. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. As we said, 116-95. What's interesting about this particular game is, and we say this a lot, it really was a game of runs. 3 runs in particular we need to focus on right out of the gates. And speaking of right out of the gates, the Heat scored the first 12 points of the game. Before you blinked, the Knicks were in a double-digit hole on the verge of getting run out of the gym. All we thought about was how tired the Knicks are after a lengthy road trip out west. So what do? They get to the second quarter, and they turn things over to Karl Anthony Towns. A 15-0 Knicks run in the second quarter puts them down to up. What's interesting about the 15-0 second quarter run is it was a 15-0 cat run. He scored all 15 of those points. And as we said, at one point in the second quarter, the Knicks trailed by 13, only to go up after the cat performance. As we said, a 15-0 cat run in the second quarter. So, as we said, game started with a 12-0 run. The Knicks bounced back with a 15-0 cat run in the second quarter. Then in the third quarter, yet another run. Mikal Bridges, 9 consecutive points in the third quarter. And that pretty much sealed the deal. As we said, the Knicks outscored Miami 41-15. 41-15 in the third quarter. The Knicks were down 11 after 1. Down 2 at the break. And then, of course, the all-important third quarter is exactly what catapults the Knicks to a very impressive going-away win over Miami. As we said, the Knicks and Heat usually play 4 times a year. They only play 3 times a year. Here in the 24-25 campaign, they finished all 3 of those, and the Knicks win all 3 of those. So as we said, for the first time in 30 years, folks, The Knicks have swept a season series from Miami. That has proved to be a thorn in the side of the Knicks have the Miami Heat, but no longer, at least not here in 2025. Knicks are now 43-24. They're 22-11 at home. Now, we talked about the 11-day, 5-game road trip. Well, no rest for the weary. As we said, the Knicks come right back home to face Miami, right back out on the road for a back-to-back, including a travel on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll get to the schedule coming up. The Knicks through 66 games now, as we said, 67 games. They are 43-24, the best team record through 67 games in nearly 30 years. 28 years was the last time the Knicks had this record, as good as it is, after 67 games. So again, a huge amount of runs in this game. And considering both teams were coming off road defeats on Saturday, not sure what to expect. Well, we got a quick Miami run to start, and then the Knicks certainly turned things around respectively in the second and third quarter. As for the Heat, we told you about the 12-0 run. You figured they were well on their way to snapping that 7-game losing skid. Didn't happen. So they've lost 8 in a row. For Miami, they haven't lost 8 in a row since 2008. And coincidentally, Jimmy Butler no longer a member of the Miami Heat. They are now 4-15 since trading Butler to the Warriors back on February 6th. So we're still roughly 6 weeks out from that trade. And Miami's been terrible. 4-15. 4-15. They've lost 8 in a row, 9 of 10. They were 6th place in the East, so very much in the hunt when the trade went down. Obviously, Jimmy didn't want to be there anymore. So when the trade went down, as we said, they were 6th in the Eastern Conference. After all that, they're now in the 9th spot, sinking quickly. Also worthy of note is the fact that most of these losses for Miami, including tonight against your Knicks, have come by double digits. 8 of Miami's last 15 losses have been by double digits. Of course, we're paying attention to the Heat. Why do you ask? Well, that's exactly the type of game the Knicks needed. They needed a bounce-back win. They needed a spurt, which put them comfortably ahead, and then they could take off for the rest of the night. That's exactly what happened. The benches cleared late in the fourth quarter. Every Knick played tonight at least a couple of minutes, with the exception of DeLon Wright and P.J. Tucker. In fact, the crowd chanting P.J. Tucker late in the game. Tibbs did not acquiesce and did not put him in. As we said, the runs for Cat and for Bridges, obviously the special night for Josh Hart. We haven't gone through the numbers yet. Bridges led all scorers with 28, 10 of 14 shooting. Another very effective, efficient night for Mikal. Bridges had 4 3-pointers, missed just 2 two-point shots tonight, 10 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 6 from 3. He had 28. 23 for Karl Anthony Towns, of course, 15 of the 23 coming on an individual run in the second quarter. Really amazing stuff. As we said, he had 23 points and 7 rebounds. As for Josh Hart, once he got close to the triple-double, the Knicks announcers were discussing, which of course includes Clyde, discussing Clyde's exploits 56 years ago when he had 8 triple-doubles in a season. Well, Josh Hart has done it and still has 15 games to play. Hart tonight, 12 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, 4 steals, and a block. But perhaps the most dazzling stat of tonight on either side, the plus-minus for Josh Hart, he was a plus 31. No player was anywhere near that on any side. The next best Knick was a plus 16, who was Karl Anthony Towns. Again, Josh Hart jumps off the page. Even with a triple-double, the fact that he was a plus 31, that's the eye-popping stat we'll take out of tonight's game for Josh Hart. And by the way, Josh Hart only played 29 minutes tonight in a game the Knicks led comfortably into the third and ultimately fourth quarters. Plenty of star sightings at Madison Square Garden tonight. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, one in particular we had our eyes on for all the wrong reasons. We'll tell you who it is and what went down coming up next. All right, NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the very next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here are a few ways you can take advantage of this deal. Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount. Get ready for more high-scoring action. Also, with Dash Pass, you get your favorite meals with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. Whether you're staying up watching highlights or just need a midnight snack, use Dash Pass to grab something delicious while saving big. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Sign up for Dash Pass, be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. All right, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets. Picking my favorites? Oh, I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com, get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And last but not least, ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half of your first year. All right, we are back. Segment number 2 of the show as the Knicks return home and pound the Heat. As we said, final score 116-95. Knicks now 43-24 overall, 22-11 at home. For what it's worth, they pick up a half game on both the idle Cavs and the idle Celtics. Again, Knicks firmly in that 3 spot in the Eastern Conference. Celtics firmly in the 2. Cavs firmly in the 1. So it looks like 1, 2, 3 is pretty much set. Yes, there's plenty of time left, but still, looks like those teams are firmly set in their respective positions within the Eastern Conference. All right, we told you about a star at the game, and there's stars every night at every Knick game. Tonight, Tracy Morgan in his typical courtside seat was there, but he got sick. He threw up on the court. He's sitting in the first row, throws up, escorted out via a wheelchair. It stops gameplay for more than 10 minutes as they, 1, help him, and 2, clean up the mess. So Tracy Morgan did not have a good night. What's interesting about this is when this went down, the Knicks were only up 6 on the Heat. At least 10 minutes of waiting and cleaning means you got to ramp back up. Well, the Knicks ramped back up. The Heat didn't. And again, the clear line of demarcation was the vomiting of Tracy Morgan. Hopefully he's okay. But again, from that point on, it really was lights out for Miami. As we said, no rest for the weary. Knicks are back out on the road for 2 games, Wednesday and Thursday, including travel. Wednesday in San Antonio against the Spurs, Thursday in Charlotte against the Hornets before the Knicks finally return home for 3 straight. So again, this brutal stretch continues. Now, again, Spurs on Wednesday night, Hornets Thursday night, after the Knicks get just 1 home game, and that home game was tonight. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also want to mention our partners in crime, the All-Stars, Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Knicks. They're the best, so follow, subscribe, and enjoy. As we said, the Knicks comfortably over the Miami Heat, 116-95. The Heat hit 6 3-pointers, which is obviously a very low number for the modern NBA game. 6 3-pointers, 5 of them from Duncan Robinson, 1 from Pelly Larson. So 2 Miami Heat players had 3-point goals tonight. 5 for Robinson, 1 for Larson. That was it. Meanwhile, every Knicks starter had a 3. Knicks were 16 of 34 from 3-point land. And that's 47%, comfortably above their season average. Again, 116-95. Heat lose for an 8th consecutive game. The Knicks sweep the season series from Miami. Next up, San Antonio, Wednesday night. Charlotte, Thursday night. We'll be with you after both games. Take care, everybody.